woman after marriage becomes a wife. For 9 long months she carries a new life. Islam legislates equality, my sisters and brothers. Don't forget paradise lies at the feet of your mothers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of The Art of Divorce. And we're still talking to our guest from the United Kingdom, Sheikh Haitham Al-Haddad. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I just want to go straight into the topic because you had me thinking after the last episode. I have some new questions for you as well. In the last episode, we discussed the 3 types of divorce, or the 3 types of separation, where we said that you said divorce, or when the wife initiates it, and then just total separation from the court or from a responsible group in the community. I was thinking, Sheikh, that after looking at it, it still returns to the permission of the man. And this is a point that the West holds against Islam, saying that although you have taken that right, it's still in the right of the man. How do we understand it? Is there a wisdom behind this?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. As you just highlighted, but I would like to put it in the right perspective or in the right maybe terminology, using the right terminology. We said that ending marriage, according to Islam, can take one of 3 forms. The first form is the divorce, the decision of the husband, giving it to the wife, and it doesn't need the consent of the wife. And then the second thing is the khula, where the wife asks for divorce and the husband, he accepts the divorce in exchange of monetary claim.
Yes.
And then the third one is the marriage dissolution, which is, as you said, is the wife goes to the court, to the Islamic court in a Muslim country, or to a recognized official body within in non-Muslim countries. And that body will issue the marriage dissolution or fasakh.
Yes.
Now, in 2 of the 3 scenarios, the husband has to give the consent. We agree.
Yes.
And by the way, they asked me the same question in Holland. I had recently an interview by one of the Dutch TVs, because they had a debate on Sharia in the Netherlands, or Sharia in Europe.
Okay.
So they asked me the same question. I said, well, we have 2 options. Either we give the husband the right to divorce, or to the wife the right of divorce. The other option is we give them both. So when we go to the second option, which is to give them both, then instead of having a ratio of 40% of divorces or marriages ending by divorce, then we will double that ratio. And instead of having 40% of marriages ending by divorce, we will have it 80% or maybe 100%, because instead of one having the right only to divorce, now we said both of you, anytime you can divorce the marriage, which is a disaster. And that is what is happening in the West, because the wife can petition for a divorce, the husband can also petition for a divorce, and that's why the divorce rate is very high. And now, unfortunately, as we said, many Muslim countries are following that lifestyle, and the divorce rate is also very high. Now, if we say, well, let us give the wife the right of divorce, not the husband.
Yeah, that's their claim.
Then again, the people who will support men, they will say, why do you give women the right of divorce, not to men?
Yes.
Okay, and we will not end up with a solid conclusion.
Yes.
Based on any assumption. So that's why the right of divorce has to be given to one of them. Now, Allah Jalla wa Ala is the one who created men, who created females as well. And He is the one who gave the right of divorce to men. He is the one who created men, and He is the one who created female women as well. And He chose to give the right of divorce to men. And obviously, now even from scientific perspective, many reports concluded that men, they differ in the way they think. And here I would like to pinpoint a very important point.
Okay.
Some women, out of inferiority complex, they believe that they are lower than men. Why do you always think about it that men have more rights over us? Why are you thinking about it like this? Why don't you think about it that Allah Jalla wa Ala created men, Allah Jalla wa Ala created women? They are physically different.
Yes.
Physically, psychologically, they are different.
Yes.
And Allah Jalla wa Ala appointed men and gave them certain responsibilities according to the physical and psychological needs. And Allah Jalla wa Ala gave women different responsibilities. Why do you say that whatever responsibilities were given to you means that men are better than you? Why do you take it like this? I'm not saying that men are not better than you. I'm not saying that women are not better than men. I'm not saying that women are not better than men. I'm not saying the opposite. But I'm talking about the method those people approach the issue. They look at anything in Islam. And whenever Islam gives certain rights to men, then they say, see, Islam is what? Preferring men over women. Why do you look at it like this? And I believe that the way they perceive it like this because of the history of the West. What do we mean by this? Because many Western countries, in fact most of the Western countries, were very hostile against women, and they were subjugating them, and women were not getting any rights. So whenever they think of any other system other than the equality system between men and women, they immediately think of the history where women were subjugated were subjugated to men.
So when they hear the concept of what Islam has for them, they relate back to their history.
To their history or to their memory.
Yes.
And that is very dangerous. You have to understand what Islam gave to men, what Islam gave to women, according to the Islamic context, not according to your context. And that is very important. Otherwise, there will be no dialogue between both, you can say, religions or systems. There will be no understanding. And I believe that is the main reason for, this is, to be precise even, this is one of the reasons for the hostility of some Western people have towards Muslims and Islam. They are not all bad, but sometimes they have this wrong perception, and they are judging Muslims according to their own values that they have inherited or according to their own memory. Anyway, we don't want to dwell into the discussion, but that is a point to be put in mind.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, some Muslims, they followed that style, and now they are giving women more rights to dissolve the marriage or to divorce their husbands in some cases. And what is the situation we ended up with? Have we solved the problems of maybe the community? Have we solved the problem of the society? Have we reduced the divorce rate? Have we reduced the problem of homeless children? I don't want to pinpoint certain Muslim countries who maybe initiated this, where the woman can initiate a divorce against her husband, and what and some of the consequences of that. Zina, fornication, adultery prevailed and spread. Homeless children, unknown children becoming even more.
Yes.
Take this issue of zina. From my experience in the UK, which is something I've been speaking with some judges in some Muslim countries, and they said, we have the same thing. Normally divorcees, whether men or women, and in particular sisters, divorcees, because of the emotional breakdown they go through, they become very weak and very vulnerable. And that's why some men hunt on them when they are in this situation and they fall into zina. And I have so many cases of practicing sisters. We are not talking about people who are not practicing Islam. I'm talking about sisters who are practicing good hijab, mashallah. They are praying and they are even seeking knowledge, and they fell into zina. They've been divorced, they are divorcees. Of course, they are missing the matrimonial life or the relation. They are missing the emotion in that life, the emotional aspect. And because of this, they become very weak, they're very vulnerable. And some evil men, evil practicing men, hunt on them on that point, and then they fell into zina because of this.
SubhanAllah.
And this is, in fact, one of the things that we need to learn once we talk about the art of divorce is, okay, brothers, please, brothers, remember that when you divorce your wife and you don't reconcile with her, most likely she is not going to be married. Most likely, let us admit. This is a problem. We are not going to discuss it now. But it is a problem, and it is there. Let us not close our eyes. Let us not just hide it. It is there. So it is likely that she won't get married. And she is emotionally broken. And it will, she will become very vulnerable.
Yes.
And there is a high possibility that someone will hunt on her on that time, and she might fall into zina. Do you accept this to this lady? Do you accept that this lady who has been considered as your wife at a certain point of time, and she might be the mother of your children if you have children, do you accept that this lady falls into zina? So please, brothers, once we talk about divorce, you need to put this in your mind. One of the skills that we learned from Sharia is that Allah Jalla wa Ala says, الطلاق مرتان. And then after that, if you finish the two divorces, Allah Jalla wa Ala says, فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا, means the husband who divorced her the second time, he divorced her the third time, فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ. She is not allowed to go back to him. He is not allowed to go back to her. مِن بَعْدُ حَتَّى تَنْكِحَ زَوْجًا غَيْرَ, until she marries another husband. Look at this wisdom, and many people are not aware of this wisdom.
Okay, I'll ask you to hold that wisdom, inshallah, and I'm sure the viewers want to listen to what that wisdom is. But we'll take a short break here on the art of a divorce, and we'll be back right after this.
Don't forget, paradise lies at the feet of your mothers.
Huda TV strives to bring you, our viewers, the best in Islamic programming. Please send your comments and suggestions to feedback@huda.tv.
Forget, paradise lies at the feet of your mothers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're watching The Art of Divorce. We're still talking to our guest from the United Kingdom, Sheikh Haitham Al-Haddad. You were just mentioning the verse from Surah Al-Baqarah, and you said there is a wisdom behind it. What is that wisdom, Sheikh?
Yeah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we said that the husband divorced his wife 2 times. Now, the third time, the Quran says, Allah Jalla wa Ala says to him, فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ مِن بَعْدُ حَتَّى تَنْكِحَ زَوْجًا غَيْرَهُ. If you divorce her the third time, remember that you were able to reconcile with her the first time, the second time.
Yes.
And you enjoyed maybe reconciliation. Now, if you divorce her, you can't go back to her until she sleeps. تَنْكِحَ. She sleeps, have the full sexual relationship with another man. So think, this wife, if you ever think to take her back, then another man has to have full sexual relationship with her. Now, the dignity of a man, when he is imagining that his wife will not go back to him except when she sleeps with another man, will stop him from what? Divorcing, or at least will say, hold on. Even if he is not thinking to go back to her, recalling his previous memory of the 2 times, even if he's not thinking to go back to her, but she says, this is my wife, and now, after the 3rd divorce, she is free to sleep with another man.
Or she has to in order to get him back.
Yeah, but let us say that she is not thinking down that that route. But he said, now the 3rd time, I have no right over her whatsoever, and she is free now to go and to sleep with another man. Oh, let me think about it. And this is, subhanallah, the wisdom that many people are unaware of. And this is why we say now, divorce is a process, is a skill, is an art. We need to learn about it. And once we learn the details, we will, for sure, minimize the divorce rate that is happening within the Muslim community.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
Subhanallah. So, if you really, I've been listening to you, and you brought up some new perspective towards the understanding of the art of divorce, Sheikh. Okay, so we talked about the 3 types of divorce. A couple has a problem. Divorce is mentioned. Both of them are thinking, no, this can't work anymore. We have to finish it. What are the 4 steps towards divorce?
Okay, let us speak about the full procedure of divorce. Let us break it down into 3 main stages.
Yes.
The first stage is before divorce. The second stage is the divorce itself.
During it.
During the divorce. And the third stage is after the divorce.
Yes.
Now, before divorce, I think there are many programs talking about it. But I will summarize it. Before divorce, we have the ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah and also the ayah of Surah An-Nisa. The ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah Jalla wa Ala says, وَالَّتِي تَخَافُونَ نُشُوزَهُنَّ فَعِظُوهُنَّ وَاهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ وَاضْرِبُوهُنَّ فَإِنْ أَطَانَكُمْ فَلَا تَبْغُوا عَلَيْهِنَّ سَبِيلًا. Okay, this ayah is talking about the 3 steps in the first stage. Those whom you have their nushuz means their disobedience.
Yes.
Now there is a real problem. I am the husband, I have a real problem with my wife. What do I need to do? فَعِظُوهُنَّ. This is the first step. And I'm sure many have elaborated on this, but unfortunately from experience and from the researches that we have done, many people are not doing this. The maw'idha. Oh, my wife, fear Allah. Oh, my wife, we have children. If we got divorced, then the children will be lost. Oh, my wife. This is another principle that you need to mention when you want to give maw'idha to your wife. Oh, my wife, you know that Allah Jalla wa Ala gave the husband certain rights and they gave the wife certain rights. For example, the wife is not allowed to sleep away from her husband without his permission. The malaika, as per the hadith, sahih, the malaika are cursing you. So, oh my wife, be careful. I don't want you to be cursed. Oh my wife, you know that the Prophet ﷺ said, if a man calls his wife, she should answer his call even if she is cooking.
SubhanAllah.
Oh my wife, you know that the Prophet ﷺ said, if I know the right of the man over his wife, then the woman would prostrate before him or for him. Oh my wife, you know that the Prophet ﷺ said, if a woman knows the right of her husband, then she would lick the pus coming from his nose.
SubhanAllah.
So we need to make this maw'idha. Now, if it doesn't work, and here we have to be careful. If it doesn't work, means that there is a problem. And please, brothers, don't put the blame on your wives, always. Don't say that she is being obedient, etc., etc. You might have dealt with her in a very wrong way, and then after the end, You said, I gave her the maw'idah and the maw'idah didn't work.
SubhanAllah.
No. The maw'idah is not just take your wife, sit her and just narrate the ahadith after long period of maybe mistreatment by yourself. And that's why the Quran says what? The ishra bil ma'ruf. The mu'amala bil ma'ruf means dealing with them on what? On goodwill. The good practice. The love between two spouses, which I'm sure that have been covered, and we don't want to dwell into it. But these are the first step of this state, the maw'idah. Then the hajr fil madja, okay, sleeping away from her. And believe me, brothers, okay, let me say to the brothers, I know brothers and sisters are watching. If your husband, if your wife, had a little amount of love to you, and you sleep away from her, that will hurt her. If she doesn't care, it means that there is a serious problem between both of you. Normally, the wife will be so much hurted if her husband turned his back towards her. In particular, and this is something known, I know there are many sisters watching us, many brothers are watching us. What hurts a woman the most if she wants to attract a man or to attract the attention of a man, and then that man she would like to attract didn't care about her. If that man doesn't pay attention to her, this will make her so angry, and this will hurt her. That's why Allah Jalla wa Ala mentioned it. Okay? As what? As another step that keep away from her. So she will think, oh, this man is now taking it serious. I am being hurt by this attitude. So there must be something. Let us try to work it out.
SubhanAllah. So that whole process of just staying away from her, giving her the advice, is really a way of finding out if really there is a problem.
Exactly. So, and normally, Muslim women, alhamdulillah, the taqwa of Allah Jalla wa Ala, they had, provided that they were not or badly mistreated by their husband, normally they will be affected by this, and normally they reconcile. Now, after the second step, we'll move to the third step, smack them. And all of us know, okay, and we know that this is problematic in the West because of domestic violence. And see, when we talk about this, and in some translations, beat them in the Western context means beating them, punishing them, and really domestic violence.
Yes.
And the West, they have a problem with this because whenever we talk about this, even smacking, they immediately recall the history.
Yes.
And we are saying, no, it is different from what is being practiced in the West.
Yes.
This smacking, it will not hurt. The husband has to avoid the face. It will not leave a mark. Even some scholars say that he should not leave a mark. It is like the stick of the miswak. Yeah? You know, all of us know the stick of the miswak, and just applying it. It is more symbolic rather than real harming, real physical harm. We have to understand this, okay? And we are not compromising on our religion. We are not shying and saying, no, that is not part of the process. We say that Allah is the one. What does she need from him? She needs to see him a strong person, giving her what? Protection. He is acting like a shield. And that's why a woman, she doesn't like to marry a weak man. Does she like to marry a weak man? Why? She will not feel protection. She will not feel secure with him. And the main thing a woman would like to see from a man, he is strong, he has the authority, but with love and affection.
Interesting. Unfortunately, we're out of time today. Jazakallah khair for being with us. And we do hope that if the viewers, inshallah, can continue to watch us to really understand the art of divorce. Jazakallah khair. That's Sheikh Haitham Al-Haddad there from the United Kingdom. And until next time, I leave you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Woman's status in Islam, we should never neglect. They are favored and deserve their respect. They can pray at the mosque or even at home. They may marry or divorce, it's a choice of their own. A woman after marriage becomes a wife. For 9 long months she carries a new life. Islam legislates equality, my sisters and brothers. Don't forget paradise lies at the feet of your mothers. Righteous women can lead a happily married life. The best men are those who are best to their wives.